Hi, I'm Steve, the introverted traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are hiking to Upper and Lower Twin Lakes via the Pacific Crest Trail near the town of Government Camp in northern Oregon. Along the way, we will walk through windy forests, stare out across gorgeous alpine lakes, and get lost and found again in the beautiful Oregon wilderness.
Now, this trail, I know where it goes. It goes, well, in this direction, it goes to Mexico, and Canada's that way. So I know exactly where I am. I'm between Mexico and Canada.
All this and much more on this Introverted Travels.
Greetings, and I'm back again on yet another adventure. And today we're visiting an old friend. 10 guesses as to what trail I'm currently on. Of course, you won't be able to guess if you've never seen my stuff before, and given the amount of views my YouTube videos and a lot of my reels get, you've probably never seen my stuff before. I today am back on our wonderful old friend, the Pacific Crest Trail, here near Mount Hood in Oregon. It's only an hour from my house, so of course I'm always up by Mount Hood or in the Columbia River Gorge, but today we're doing Mount Hood, and we are on the PCT to Lower and Upper Twin Lakes. So let me give you the demographics and tell you about what Alltrails says, and then make fun of Alltrails because it's what I do in every video. So, Alltrails, wonderful, beautiful, completely 100% accurate Alltrails, claims that this is a hard six-ish, around 6.1 mile hike. But so far, it's been kind of moderate. I'm only about half a mile in, but kind of moderate, and it's probably, a 10-mile hike because, say it with me, Alltrails sucks. But we are here, of course, on a Sunday. I'm going to go up to the lakes. I'm going to possibly circle the lakes to add a little bit of mileage, and then we're going to go back. That is the plan. Now, let's get to the second part of the introduction, which is when I tell you about the trailhead. Do I even have to tell you? I'm in Oregon. Oregon is a hellmouth of socializing and hiking groups and idiots coming out and talking and singing and carrying Bluetooth speakers. And luckily, the parking lot was probably only a quarter filled. Now, it was a huge parking lot. So there were about 25 to 30 cars out there. So let's go ahead and dive into introverted math. 4 people per car times 30 equals too many freaking damn people. We'll just leave it at that. But so far, I have seen nobody except for the couple people that were lingering at the trailhead. But I haven't seen anybody on the PCT. I haven't seen anybody on the hike yet. But I've only been here for about 10-15 minutes. So that may be the only piece I get the entirety, the first 10-15 minutes, and then the rest of it's going to be, typical yelling and screaming and sobbing and crying and hiding and cowering and shivering. My usual response to social interactions. All right. I already think, just in the couple of seconds that I've been filming this, I think I've said it all. We're on the Pacific Crest Trail. We're going to get off the Pacific Crest Trail, go to a couple of lakes, and get back on the Pacific Crest Trail. Too many people bad, people suck, world sucks, all that stuff. We covered that. Oh, and Alltrails is the devil. Okay, I think I've covered all my bases. So, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to start this hike. We're going to go forward. We're going to hope and pray that it's just us today. But it won't be. You know the complaining and the crying is coming. So let's not delay it anymore. Let's go. So originally, I was going to do my, typical thing and start ranting about how many people I've already seen on the trail. And there's been a bunch. But every time I stop, I hear trees snapping, creaking, moving, groaning, moaning. And there's barely a light breeze. I mean, yes, there's a little bit of wind, but holy crap. I mean, you city people are terrified of cougars and bears and snakes and all sorts of predators, to the point where apparently you're armed to the teeth walking around the woods for something that will more than likely never happen. You seriously have a better shot of getting hit by lightning, or you have a better shot of having a freaking tree fall on you. Because I've heard the gamut. I mean, I've heard the gamut of, an arborist stream out there. There's creaking, there's moaning, the entire forest is alive. And, with the number of downed trees that I see on the trail on any given Sunday, yeah, it's dangerous out here. You're not going to be eaten by a predator. You're ever going to be crushed by a freaking log. So yeah, I'm already worked up. And there's been like a whole herd of people. I've seen families. Oh. Do you understand how soul draining it is to see that there's going to be future generations of you assholes to annoy me? Well, okay, so I'm already, amped up. And now the freaking forest is alive with an orchestra of death. I mean, with every creak, I just hear the Grim Reaper laughing. That's what a tree creak sounds like. It sounds literally like death going, hee hee hee, I'm here and I'm everywhere. The woods are terrifying. I mean, I come out here for my mental health and I end up freaking loco. Well, there you go, right in front of us. There's the evidence. The forest is alive, and it's going to murder you. I swear, this is my punishment for not attending church on Sundays, even though I'm agnostic and don't believe necessarily in any form of spirituality. I saw Satan's minions, an entire line. It must have been like a youth group or a school group or some sort of organized, because there were chaperones, there were adults who were talking. And then there were kids intermixed in there. There's a big long line of them. They were also talking. So here's how it went. Usually when I rant and make these videos that everybody hates, I'm talking about one or two people. They come up and they say good morning, and I get all pissy and make a video, and then there you go. But this was a line of it. It was like a train of adults and children. And I swear, every single one of them, and there had to be about 20. And here I am, the innocent, sweet, trying to keep to myself, wants solitude, has social anxiety, doesn't want to talk to anybody. And I get this. Hello, good morning, hello. Freaking 20 times. Except some of the kids. Some of the kids, rebelled against the so-called politeness and actually did the right thing and shut the hell up. The adults, I swear, it's like I got physically assaulted in the brain 900 times. I come out here for mental healing, and I feel like now I need therapy. All right, I hope it's not offensive when I say this, but pretty much all trails look alike. I mean, I know that's not, sensitive to the diversity of trails, but at least out here, I don't think you're going to be able to tell that this is now the Twin Lakes Trail and not the PCT. The PCT is back behind me, so I'm going to be going up to two lakes today. Upper and Lower Twin Lakes. Not really that complicated in naming, but they're down this trail. And, of course, it connects to the PCT. I mean, there's nothing more complex than that. However, I have made the executive decision because so far this hike has been, it's been like a stroll through the scary creaking forest that's filled with people. So it's been a nightmare, but it's been a pretty easy hike. So we're going to keep going. We're going to go to the lakes. I may or may not circle the lakes. I guess that adds in about a mile overall, or maybe 2 miles. But I think I'm going to keep going after that because the Twin Lakes Trail then goes past the lakes and ends up back at the PCT way up up on the PCT, and then I can just take the PCT back. Now, I say that sounds like a great plan. I'm thinking, a couple miles. My inability to read maps, however, and my inability to read how many miles that might, to estimate in my mind how many miles that might be, I might be out here all night because, I'm going to keep going, and it's going to be like 20 miles. Just watch. I'm going to be lost in the woods for like 30, 40 hours. But unfortunately, I'm not alone because there's a people coming. So, yeah, the standard protocol. Hide in the bushes and sob. Let's go do that. Well, we have made it to Lower Twin Lake. Or as I like to call it, Lower. There's people all over the forest. There's too many damn people. Why are there so many people out? There's people. I'm sick of hearing people in the woods. I'm sick of hearing people around me. I'm sick of people. Lake. Yeah, that's what I like to call it. But, yeah, of course, that automatically means that we're not alone. And I'm saying that as I'm watching somebody in a hammock across the lake from me. Yeah, it's a natural wonder I want to see. Oh. Every video. I mean, my videos are getting predictable at this point, and it's not that I'm using a formula. My formula for these videos is to literally let the trail and the hike tell the story. But up here in Oregon, that story's shitty every week because it's like people TV. So yeah, you might see an orange thing wafting in the distance. There's dogs over there jumping in the water, which is okay if it was just the dogs, but they've got a people attached to them. But yeah. This is beautiful, isn't it? We got clouds rolling overhead, so the forest is getting shadowed. We got the gentle water. We got some jackass and orange hammock swinging in the distance. I swear, every single Sunday, I get more stressed just by being out in nature. It's not supposed to be this way. There's too many damn people, and every single one of them makes me miserable. But look where we are. Beautiful water. Gentle trees, white clouds, blue sky. It just reminds you that reality isn't all that bad. It's just the bits with other humans that suck. But yeah, I actually think I'm going to go ahead and the trail goes all the way around the lake. It is not part of the Alltrails map, so the Alltrails app is going to be like screaming at me that I'm off the app and I'm dying and blah, blah, blah. But I'm dying half the time I use their map anyway. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a loop around the lake. Then we're going to go up the trail, do the other lake, which is apparently smaller because the trail's already looped around. So we'll go that way. And then we're going to keep going and we're going to go back to the PCT. Okay, we looped the lake and there's people coming, but I'm going that way. We're done with the lower Twin Lakes. We're gonna go to Upper Twin Lake, which on the map looks like a pond. So let's go. Here come the people. Go, go, go. All right. So according to my map, I'm actually almost there. I'm almost to what would normally be the turnaround point, but as I already said, we're gonna keep going and we're gonna hit the PCT and go back that way. But I'm doing this segment just to tell you, there's nobody out here. They all stopped at the big lake. This lake's a lot smaller, the Upper Twin Lake. It's much smaller apparently, according to the map at least. Nobody's up here. It's just me. I'll take small, almost minuscule pond any day over giant gorgeous lake if it means I don't have to listen to oh. Well, congratulations. The people didn't eat us and the trees didn't kill us, and we've made it to Upper Twin Lakes. Now, right over there, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see it even though it's a GoPro, but like right there is Mount Hood. or the top of Mount Hood. You know, the top that will go kabloomy when the volcano erupts, and you know, the molten rocks will come this way and the pyroclastic cloud, and we'll all die. That it's right there. Yeah, it's right up there. That could kill us later. Okay, but right now it's not erupting, so we can only, you know, hope for death and not actually experience it. But yeah, here I am. I made it up. Now the Alltrails map has me going around the lake, and I was actually making a motion literally like around the lake, but then I realized you wouldn't be able to see that. So I'm not good with, you know, communication of any kind. But yeah, so Alltrails already has me going around the lake. Somewhere towards the middle there, the trail continues and it keeps going. And as I said, it goes out to the PCT. So that's where we're headed. We're going back to the PCT, and then we'll hit the PCT back to the highway. But in the meantime, I almost dropped the camera, and I almost dropped it in the water, but then I remembered it's a GoPro, and it doesn't matter. I drop it in water all the time. So yeah, there's the top of Mount Hood over there. There's a beautiful lake in front of us. There's a couple people camping up here, but so far, not a lot of people. This is the lake to come to. Unfortunately, you have to go through the hellmouth that is, you know, socialization trail down there, but this is the lake to come to. Beautiful, isn't it? All right, so I totally wasn't paying attention, and if I wanted to do the loop around the lake, I would now be on the wrong trail. But I wasn't paying attention, and I got on the trail that I actually wanted to be on. So this one's going to take us through the scary woods and over to the Pacific Crest Trail. So let's go ahead and go through the spooky woods. Let's listen to the trees creak, the wind blow, things crash, things fall. And of course, we imagine that the Grim Reaper is right there, and we remember that we're all mortal, and really our bodies are just decaying vessels that, although seem full of life, will eventually just rot away, and we will die. The darkness is coming, folks. It is coming for all of us. But right now, we're going to go through the scary woods. And we're going to go find the Pacific Crest Trail, because, you know, it's a good way to pretend that we're not dying. So let's go ward off death, and let's go find the trail. Come on. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but I'm a little past where it's supposedly split, the trail here. And it doesn't really matter, because either part of the trail goes back to the PCT. The only problem is there's no other trail out here. There's no split whatsoever. I passed just woods. There wasn't another trail. So hopefully this will take me back to the PCT, but I hate to tell you this, folks, but Alltrails was wrong. I mean, it wasn't accurate. I'm absolutely amazed. I mean, this has never happened before. Alltrails has never tried to plunge me into the scary woods where there's no trail, claiming that it was a trail. I mean, it's never done that to me, ever. It's never tried to walk me off a cliff. It's never tried to walk me through a river. It's never tried to walk me up to the top of a rock and like make me jump over. No, it's never done anything like that. I'm shocked. I can't believe that Alltrails isn't perfect. I can't do this. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Alltrails is a piece of crap, and we all know it. All right, so that was the trail that we were on. We were on Twin Lakes, and it's a mile and a half to Upper Twin Lake. So I literally just did a mile and a half. It's not too bad. But guess what? We have to say hello once again to our old friend, the Pacific Crest Trail. Now, this trail, I know where it goes. It goes, well, in this direction, it goes to Mexico, and Canada's that way. So I know exactly where I am. I'm between Mexico and Canada. there you go. I'm no longer lost in the woods. So let's head back down towards Tijuana in that direction and go find my car. Why not? Let's go. So do you remember that trail I was telling you about, you know, like 2 segments ago that wasn't there? Well, apparently it was, but Alltrails swore up and down it existed. At one time it did, because this is it. This is where the trail, and if you look over here, here's how I know. There's arrows saying go that way into the scary woods where there's like no trail now. So it's an old trail. Now I don't know how long it takes a trail to become decrepit like that, but Alltrails, your maps are outdated. I mean, why do I even have to say this? You suck, Alltrails. You're using old maps and you're sending people into the middle of the woods, you know, with unreliable information. Now, luckily, I'm cunning enough that I know your tricks and I know you're trying to kill me. But yeah, that trail hasn't been around for a while. Update your damn maps. Well, you've got to give it to the Pacific Crest Trail. Not only is it beautiful out here, but when you aren't near one of the main road crossings, it's quiet. I mean, I've seen a couple of people, but in the last few minutes, I haven't seen anybody. It's been spectacular. I mean, look at this. First of all, we're dense, middle of the woods, beautiful as hell. I mean, I'm the most beautiful thing in the woods, but we already know that. and it's quiet. You finally get some solitude. Now, so that means that, you know, this video was front-loaded with a whole bunch of whining and complaining, because that was the area where I came from. And we'll get whining and complaining again at the end because I'm headed back in that direction. But until then, we get a nice middle that's like sane and rational and calm. I mean, I don't know what sane and rational really means because I'm neither of those things, but I can fake it for the middle of the video. Oh boy, I couldn't film this earlier because the sun was hitting it directly, but now, here we go. You do not have to dig your poop holes nearly as deep as the holes where you bury your victims. Butterflies are in the shadows, and they're everywhere. Don't forget to plant your horse seeds in the fall for a fresh fall in the spring. If you strain hard enough, you too can shit out a hiking trail. Hey, who lit the Apollo 11 orbiter on fire again? Wildlife is judging you harshly. Mages and sometimes wizards may be seen on the trail. Do not engage. Germs are everywhere. Run! The mountain is made of magic. Magic! Okay, was that appropriately stupid enough? I kind of feel that was appropriately stupid enough. You gotta love trail signs.
Well, this is awkward. Okay, so we're gonna do our trail rating, and usually I'm doing this on the GoPro and I'm doing it on the trail. Well, I did it today. It's a few hours after the hike. I'm actually home now, and I thought I had filmed this particular segment, but apparently something went awry on my GoPro, and everything else got filmed except for this segment. Well, since it's only a few hours after the hike and I actually remember stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do the trail rating now, and I'll just include it in the video and you can ooh and awe at the cactus behind me. Alright, so we do it on a scale of 1 to 10. For those of you who have never seen my videos before, and that's probably most of you because no one watches this stuff except for like 2 people. So, it's an introversion scale. One being the worst possible thing for an introvert, and that's Disneyland on the 4th of July with, mascots celebrating the birth of America by setting things on fire and setting themselves on fire and running through the streets. Children screaming, churros being thrown in the air, ice cream being thrown at kids, parents being, told that they have to pay really large sums for really crappy products. The worst possible scenario ever. Literally, introvert hell. Versus introvert heaven, which would be a 10, and that's a field in the middle of Antarctica, just you and the penguins, nobody around for hundreds of thousands of miles. If you buy me an airline ticket now, I'll literally go do that, because that sounds like absolute heaven. Now, I might not come back. That's the problem, because if I could live out there in a field in Antarctica with absolutely no people and just penguins, build a little igloo and use a penguin as a pillow, that would be wonderful and perfect, and I'd love that. But on that scale, the trail that I did today, up to the two twin lakes, upper and lower twin lakes. Well, that segment of the trail, the one that Alltrails makes you hike, that is about a 2. There are people everywhere. It's really close to the highway. It's only a couple of miles, and so they come. There were college kids with coolers. There were children. Oh. It was a little piece of hell. However, I decided that, the trail was kind of lame and not hard enough, so I decided to go past that last lake, keep going into the wilderness, and hit the Pacific Crest Trail and just go back down the parts that I hadn't gone on. Once I did that, I saw like 4 people that entire time, and I was on it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. So, that part of the trail is at least a 7 or an 8. The Pacific Crest Trail, the further out you get from the crossings, the major road crossings, the more nirvana it becomes. There's nobody out there. It's complete wilderness. It's just you and whatever predators might be lurking through the dense forest, and chipmunks and squirrels and all that crap. So that part of the trail was probably a 7 and 8. The actual hike was a 2, so let's split the difference and just call the whole damn thing a 4 or a 5. So, the trail was about a 5 overall, the way I did it. Now, if you do it the Alltrails way, just kiss your happiness and solitude goodbye, because, yeah. The misery index. Well, it was a course, and this is on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being a complete pipe dream, no misery, because I'm always miserable to one degree or another, and a 5 being the worst misery you'll ever experience, and of course I always break the scale, and I'm usually a 5 trillion. The Alltrails part, the Alltrails hike, was a 4.95999 whatever. It was absolutely awful. There were people there, they were talking, they were laughing, they were shouting. Oh, I was miserable. But once I got past that part and I was out in the wilderness, I was cruising about a 2 the entire time. I mean, again, I'm always miserable to one degree or another because of the fact that I'm alive, and being alive sucks. But I was at a 2. I was happy. The Pacific Crest Trail, when you're out there just in the middle of nowhere, it's wonderful. It's like manna from heaven. So that's the trail rating. And I'm gonna try to push the right button on my GoPro next time. This is the only time I've ever had to do this, because I normally always get that segment, but it's at least filmed on the same day, so I remember it. Now, if I were to do this tomorrow, I wouldn't remember crap, and you'd get more gibberish than usual. But yeah, that's where we are. And now let's go back to the stuff that I filmed earlier, because it's way cooler than having to look at my tapestry behind me. So I must be in my last mile because I'm starting to hear sounds from the highway. And what that means is we are almost to the end of this hike, and I'm almost back to my wonderful, beautiful car. So, unfortunately, it's time for us to say goodbye. But before we do that, let's do a quick recap. So today I was on the Pacific Crest Trail to Lower and Upper Twin Lake, but that whole hike kind of sucked because there were people everywhere. So instead of just staying on the Alltrails map, I decided to go past the lake,
go through the woods, and then meet back up with the PCT and go back down the wonderful, quiet, and relatively people-free Pacific Crest Trail. But along the way, we did see some beautiful lakes. We saw some very, very dense forests today. Those are the type of forests where you want to hide the bodies, because no one's going to find it there except for maybe bears and cougars. They've got their usefulness after all. We also saw some flowers. We saw Mount Hood. Barely got to see it, tip of it through the trees. But alas, we are at the end, and it is time for me, as I do every time, to say to all of you, stay introverted. And of course I'll see you in the next adventure.